So be honest, Lynn.
I'm never on. Don't ever say that about me.
You love my cooking.
I actually do.
See?
I
Gotcha,
actually
didn't it? Gotcha,
do.
yeah,
I
gotcha.
do.
Am I a bloody brilliant keto cook?
You are a bloody brilliant keto cook. I'll say that again. You are a bloody brilliant keto cook.
I think that's probably the end of this episode. There's nothing more to say, is there?
That's it.
Was I always a bloody brilliant cook?
You were never a cook.
Okay.
You were never a cook. You were never bloody brilliant. And definitely not keto. So, no, not by any stretch of the imagination. I can, let me recount a few tales. I can remember times when we were travelling, because, we obviously travel a lot.
Yes.
And I can remember, if I go way back, that we were travelling and we would literally eat out every single meal, breakfast, lunch and dinner. And, there were times when you would cook breakfast. You were sort of a breakfast cook.
I am a specialist. We used to be a specialist breakfast cook. Give me a barbecue.
You also used to do omelettes.
I did. Actually,
you did a mean omelette.
Yes,
you always
true.
did a mean omelette.
Yeah, true.
Some of the best omelettes I've ever had were yours when we ate breakfast, which we don't now because we're full keto and intermittent fasting. But way back, you wouldn't have had a clue. I couldn't have imagined you in a supermarket. That would.
I didn't know about supermarkets. Didn't know they had supermarkets.
No.
Amazing places. They
Food
had all
turned
food
up in
and
the
stuff.
fridge, right?
They did. People knocked on your door and people just opened and there was in boxes and stuff.
So
Who knew?
you would never have tolerated going into a supermarket. You didn't know a lot about food, to be honest. You didn't know what proteins were, what carbohydrates were.
No.
You didn't know what good and bad fats were. You didn't know about processed foods. And other than that,
I was a keto Neanderthal.
You were a Neanderthal. No, you were a keto Neanderthal. You were.
I was.
You never used to cook for the kids or any of that stuff.
So what's the purpose of this conversation? It's not just
no,
about me, but really.
It is, because I think your story is really interesting for people. And here's my view. Here's my take on your story. So, you started out like many guys, quite frankly.
Yes.
You didn't cook because that wasn't your place in the home.
Yes.
So, the woman cooked, you didn't. You ate. You travelled, you ate out in hotel restaurants, you got food wherever you could.
Yes.
You didn't think about...
Scavenged off the land.
Whoever was offering food, you'd take it.
Scavenged off the best restaurants in town.
But you definitely didn't think about
No.
food preparation.
No, I did not.
Meal planning.
No.
Any of that stuff. And if I look now, you are completely the opposite end of the spectrum. And I think you're where a lot of guys fit. A lot of blokes.
Blokey
blokes. They don't cook. They either haven't been trained in it, they don't enjoy it, they don't have the patience for it, they don't have the time for it. Quite frankly, a busy executive, he's working till 7 o'clock maybe, comes home, he doesn't have time for cooking, so he either grabs the takeaway on the way home or, junk food, gets home and maybe his wife's cooked for him. And the same goes for women. There's a lot of female executives out there who are exhausted at the end of their day, they might have kids to look after, they don't have time to cook. So you were one of those sort of people, And now you are the opposite end of the spectrum because you cook all the time in preference to going out.
Yes, absolutely.
Your food is 100% keto. Your food tastes amazing.
Award-winning, some would say.
I would say award-winning.
Michelin star deserving.
I'm maybe biased, but I would say it's amazing. And it looks amazing. So
yes.
I've got to say, it's not just about the taste. Your food looks as good as a chef's food when it's put on the plate. And this is not once or twice. Every meal, you make it look, smell and taste amazing. How the hell did you get there?
Well, I have no idea. I do actually know why, and I think part of the chat today is it's interesting because it's not necessarily about what I can do, it's about the reason why I did it. So when I transitioned to keto, the keto lifestyle, still traveling a lot and still having to find ways to manage the wanting to eat keto with not necessarily living at home. And so it was that constant challenge of having to go to restaurants or having to live out of hotel rooms and still maintaining a keto lifestyle, but having to find the right whole foods, the right ketogenic foods, going to the supermarket in maybe a foreign country, and having to wade my way through food. So it kind of forced me to get a little bit clever and creative around finding the right foods. And then not so much travel when I got back home and started eating at home and didn't have to travel as much, didn't have to go to restaurants, it became for me more of I want to be in control of what I eat. And even if I go to a cafe or a restaurant and I go there maybe for breakfast, if I'm having breakfast, or I'm going there and I'm saying, this is the meal I want, and I order it, and I just want, if I was going for breakfast, it might be smashed avocado, it might be bacon, it might be eggs. I could never really rely on the fact of the oils they may use, they may put it on bread, there's probably some sauces in there, there's some stuff in there that I just know, because a lot of people don't understand the ketogenic lifestyle. There's going to be some stuff in there that isn't going to throw me out, and it's going to be a major drama. But I just didn't want to put that in my body. And that's not being wanky and soft or being pedantic. It was just I was working really hard to follow a ketogenic lifestyle and eating this amazing food. And why would I go out and have someone cook for me and pay a fee for that and not have the food I wanted?
And did you have the experience that a lot of people have where when they're cooking for themselves, they feel amazing?
Yeah.
Because as you said, they know exactly what's gone into it.
Yep.
They know it's healthy fats.
Yep.
They know the quality of the meats that they've used.
Yep.
They know that everything else that's gone into the meal, the nuts and the cheeses, they're all fresh. The vegetables are organic. Not necessarily expensive food, because it could be cheap cuts of meat, but they know they're all really high quality, so they feel great. And then they go out for a meal, and because they weren't the good quality foods, they were the unhealthy fats, maybe there's some trans fats in there, maybe there's some sugar been slipped in, you just come away, and either that night or the next day, you just don't feel good.
And more importantly, you don't actually know what's in, you don't know why you don't feel good. You might feel sluggish or bloated, or you just feel like shit. But you don't know whether was there a little bit of starch in the sauce? Was there some corn syrup put in there? Was there some things put in there? You don't obviously, not the obvious carbs, but there's some things in that meal that weren't keto that just made you feel like crap.
So have you got an example for people? I mean, something that you've had recently where someone's cooked something and you didn't realise that had maybe in a sauce, like a white sauce or a cheese sauce, that had things in it that
Well, I didn't
realise?
know. So I had something. I don't even know what the dish was. It was
Cauliflower cheese.
I had cauliflower. You're right. Good point. I had cauliflower cheese. Love cauliflower, and cauliflower is obviously a keto thing, a keto food. What I didn't know, because my knowledge wasn't there, was that the white sauce, which I thought was cream and cheese and stuff in the white sauce, also has flour.
Right.
And I just, it's called a roux sauce or a...
Yes, it thickens the sauce. I guess.
Is it, what's the white sauce called? White sauce?
Just a white sauce.
White sauce.
White sauce for most people.
Yeah. So this friend of mine served this cauliflower cheese and topped it with cheese, and it was beautiful, and put cheese through it, made this beautiful white sauce. And she was very proud to serve it.
Delicious.
Yeah, it was delicious. She was very proud to serve it to me, saying it's keto because it's this and it's that. And I was like, that's great. So I ate it all, had a big feed of it, and felt delicious. But within 30 minutes, the flour hit.
And what happened?
I just felt like shit. So I felt really lethargic, headache. I felt like I wanted to go to bed. Felt just super uncomfortable. My whole body felt uncomfortable.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an instant effect, and what I knew straight away was it something I ate. It was almost like food poisoning, but not food poisoning, but the same rapid response.
Yeah.
And it just makes you realise when your body is fully ketogenic, it is so pure and so in tune that any small amounts of non-ketogenic food can make you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
So then you go, okay, so I can go to a restaurant, I can pay a fee for a meal that you cross your fingers and think is ketogenic, and then you may not, you may come home and feel uncomfortable because there's been some elements that are ketogenic, and it's likely that same meal prepared at home is probably going to taste better.
Right.
It's certainly going to be cleaner. And so that led me on to, well, I need to be able to prepare my food at home.
Right.
So a long story, but I'm a control freak, and I like, you know what, if I know what goes in my body, the only way to do that is to understand a bit about food and to be able to prepare food. And one of the beautiful things about the keto diet, it's, for a bloke, it's a really logical eating methodology.
Cool.
Because you're just looking for, you've got your numbers.
Yep.
You're looking for fats.
Yep.
And there's just a list of fats, and you can either use them or not. There's no bullshit. It's not like, is that in, is that out? No. Here's the list of stuff you can use. Here's the stuff you can't use.
Right.
There's some vegetables, some you cannot use. So potatoes, sweet potatoes, carbohydrate-heavy vegetables, you can't use. Don't try and fart around and say, can I have a little bit of it? No. Just have the ketogenic vegetables with the low carbohydrates that fit into the diet. So you got your fats, you got your vegetables. What else you got?
then you've got your protein.
A protein. So simply you're looking for, and one of the good things about ketogenic lifestyle, you're looking for fatty protein. Fatty, good quality proteins. And there's a bunch of proteins that are good, and there's some other proteins that aren't so good. So your sausages and your processed, your burgers and your processed meats and stuff aren't so good.
Yep.
But your good quality grass-fed meats that can have lots of fat, because fat is great.
Yep.
And you just get those three elements, and you just take a bit of that, a bit of that, and a bit of that, and you put them together. And it's, for a bloke, simple bloke, it's really easy. And it just starts you thinking about, how can I creatively get a few nuts and cheesy things and a bit of proteiny things and some few vegetables? How can I make that into something that's really yummy and fatty and tasty and wholesome, tastes good, looks good, and it feels good?
And I guess, a couple of things you said in there is, tastes good.
Oh, shit,
because what we know is, we know that the ketogenic lifestyle, the food on the keto lifestyle, tastes amazing because the biggest taste in our food is from fat. Fat makes food taste great.
Yes.
Fat makes vegetables taste amazing. Let's face it, vegetables on their own, they don't taste too good.
Big dollop of batter.
Or put some butter, put some olive oil on them, bit of salt, and they come alive.
And what I noticed is, just on that point, it tastes great. Now, being fully ketogenic and being able to cook competently, I often cook. I mean, I cook all of my own meals all the time. So I cook for myself, obviously, but I also cook for people. So I won a family and friends tapas off recently. And I created a keto tapas, and I won that particular event, which was a bit of a kudos thing. But the simple things around, having people over for dinner, and you cook this amazing keto meal, and you serve it up to them. First of all, they all go, wow, because it looks amazing, because there's this beautiful meat and there's beautiful veggies and there's beautiful fats, and it just looks good.
Lovely colours, right?
Lovely colours. It's all rich and it's all wholesome and it's tasty. And then they eat it and they go, oh my God, that is so filling, so yummy. And then they realise, because it's from me, that it's ketogenic. And they just go, okay, so that's the ketogenic meal. So there's zero carbohydrates, fits in the ketogenic lifestyle. This whole keto thing has got legs, because if I can eat all that every meal and lose weight and feel good and have energy and all the benefits, it's very difficult. It's a very difficult argument to have around, it's too difficult to sustain, or I'm not going to enjoy the foods, because the foods are amazing.
And I think people often find they eat a keto meal and they actually feel really good afterwards. They don't get bloated, they don't have uncomfortable tummy. Whereas they eat a carb-heavy meal, then they're often, I'm gassy, I've got bloating, my tummy hurts, I feel tired. The typical after Thanksgiving dinner, what do people do? They sit down, they fall asleep. Because
lay on a couch and pass out.
They're full, but they're full of carbs. So everything, the stuffing's got carbs in it. There's potatoes, there's all sorts of breads, and then there's lots of desserts and things. So they eat all those carbs. They get a big sugar rush at first, but then they get a huge crash, and it's the the Thanksgiving Day syndrome of passing out, sitting on the couch, sleeping. After a keto meal, people never feel like that, because they're fired up with the fats and there's no dirty carbs in there. So, but I've got to ask you the question. So, it's all about control for you. It's all about control. It's about looking after yourself, being able to eat the foods you want when you want them, having the right ingredients in there. But was there anything in that whole transition and journey that was a game changer?
Air fryer.
Air fryer. What's an air fryer like?
I should actually bring one in. Air fryer is it's like a small stove. It's like a small. Essentially the theory behind it is very simple. It has a heating element in it and a fan. Right. So it's like an oven, but it's pint-sized. So it fits 1 or 2 meals in it. It's about the size of a dinner plate insofar as the size of the vessel that you put food into. And essentially the element heats at the top, the fan blows, and it cooks food.
So great for a bloke on his own.
Great for a bloke on his own. I love it because it's almost like it's designed for keto. And it's ridiculous because it was actually designed originally, the air fryer concept, and sold on you can cook food without fat.
Right.
That was the wanky sort of sales pitch, that you don't have to fry things, deep fry them. Right. You can put it in an air fryer, you can surround it with hot air and it'll cook. Right. So the fat phobics used to love them. Right. Because they could put their food in and not add oils and not add fats and feel good about that.
So the technology works for keto because you can cook your food, it ends up beautifully moist, it's perfectly cooked, it's very easy to cook. You don't have to put unhealthy fats in, you don't have to deep fry, because we don't want to deep fry on keto, even though we eat a lot of fat. We don't want to eat lots of deep fried food. That's not healthy. So we do want healthy food, and it's a really healthy way of cooking. And then we can add our fats in, right?
Yeah.
So we can add our olive oils,
Absolutely.
add our butters, add our avocados, and keep the nutrients, you know, in those foods without killing them with excessive heat. But I've got a question. Okay, you've got the air fryer. What is it about the air fryer that's easy for you? What makes it the game changer?
Well, just on that point of keto, what I love about the air fryer is you can't cook, well, difficult to cook rice in it, difficult to cook cakes, difficult to cook breads. It doesn't pastas, it doesn't lend itself for non-keto.
Right.
So in keto we cook meat,
Yep.
we cook vegetables,
Yep.
and we add beautiful fats.
Right.
So in the air fryer, it's almost like it's built for that particular type of cooking, because you can put your meat in and cooks it the best meat you'll have.
Right.
You won't have better meat than air fryer meat. The best veggies, the most moist or crisp or whatever you want them veggies, and then you add these beautiful fats. So what was your question?
Why is it a game changer for you?
One of the other things I love about it is because you can cook the whole keto meal at once.
So it's like a saucepan. It's like
Yeah.
a student saucepan,
It is.
but for
It is.
adults, right?
It is. And I don't think I use anything else in the kitchen at the moment. In fact, it's interesting because I'm on chats with a lot of people about air fryers, because I love my air fryer. And a lot of people, interestingly, are putting their air fryers in their oven space. They're actually taking out where their shelves were in the oven and sticking the air fryer in there, because they use their air fryer
Right.
more than their oven. So I used to use pots and pans, don't do that anymore. Never touched an oven, I don't use ovens. The only piece of equipment I use in my kitchen, and I cook for up to 6, 7, 8 people, and I cook at least 2 meals a day, is the air fryer.
Awesome.
Nothing else. And one of the beautiful things about the air fryer, if you do it well, correctly, you can stack in some meat and some veggies and some fats, and the whole thing gets cooked at the same time. And so when it's done, you just literally take it out, you put your meats and you put your veggies and whatever it might be down, a bit of cheese, a few nuts, which you can also put in the air fryer, all served, and it's all served at once. You've got one thing to wash up. So for the blokey bloke who doesn't want to do much preparation, it just makes sense.
So bit of an advert for air fryers, I guess, because I remember a couple of years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, I remember seeing people posting about using air fryers,
Yep.
and at the time thinking, I'm really not sure. Didn't have any spare cash, and it was like, I don't think it's a gadget that I need or one that I'll actually use. And I had this complete misconception that it was about like making rotisserie chickens.
Yes, yeah, which it's the wanky name. It's the name,
Yeah.
but the name really doesn't lend itself to the machine. The word air fryer. We're not really frying. We're cooking using hot air. So the word air fryer, unfortunately, just makes it seem a little bit wrong.
So I looked at them years ago, and then only more recently got one. And I have to say, for anybody who is either single,
Yes.
or they are keto and the family are not, so
Yeah,
they've
great
got
idea.
to, they've got to cook for themselves,
Yes.
and they've got to do a family meal. 'Cause
Yep.
that's one of the biggest challenges.
Yes.
If you're a busy mom and you're cooking for the family and they're not eating keto but you are,
Yes.
that's one of the hurdles you've got to overcome. So busy moms who are cooking keto for themselves, you can have 2 or 3 of them. They are
We've got a family there for us.
cheap as chips,
They
aren't
they really are cheap as chips. They're
incredibly cheap.
they are
So-
very cheap for what they can do.
yeah, they're like about the price of about 10 cups of coffee. So
Yes.
you can have a couple of air fryers, one for meat and one for veggies.
Yes.
So even if you've got a bigger family, you can use them. If you want your food quick, because I don't think I spend more than 30 minutes on any meal.
No, because it's a small space, they heat up quickly. So the food starts cooking. Normally in an oven you put it on for 20 minutes to heat.
Yeah.
Or you put a pan on, it's the whole process. Where an air fryer, you put it on, it warms up within a few minutes,
Yep.
and your food's in and it's done.
Great for caravanning, perhaps. If you've got a caravan and you want to take your air fryer,
Are you sure we're not getting a sponsorship here?
I think we should. But they are absolutely awesome for all of
Yeah.
those situations and more. So I would say to anybody who's transitioning into keto,
Get an air fryer.
get an air fryer, because
Yes.
it will make your life easier.
It will.
And you'll be really shocked for the price point, how much you can do in it, and how much more successful you'll be in your keto journey.
Yeah,
So
should be
it's
one
not
of
an
the-
advert for air fryers, but they are awesome.
But it should be one of the planning things. If you're planning to do keto transition, then plan to buy yourself an air fryer or get one. Have a play with it, because you will find preparing keto foods not just easier but fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun farting around with this air fryer to see what you can make in this thing. And you've seen the foods that we get out of that thing are just incredible.
They're amazing. I mean, even myself, I will definitely say I can't cook. I am not a cook by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not domestic. But even I can cook beautiful food. So, whether it's belly pork with a beautiful crackling, the crispiest crackling I've ever seen.
The world.
Delicious crispy crackling. Whether it's things like, I cooked chicken livers the other day and I made them into a beautiful chicken liver pate. Steaks, wonderful lamb, pork chops, whether it's halloumi cheese that goes that lovely crispy colour. You can make omelettes in the air fryer, fried eggs, bacon. Whatever you can think of.
Yes.
Apart from, as you said, the pastas and all those keto food, it's super easy. They look beautiful and they taste amazing.
And because the food's not touching a hot surface, it's obviously better for the food because it's getting cooked by hot air. So it's not getting the carcinogenic effect.
Yeah. So if you make a comparison to, say, a barbecue, the problem with barbecues is that because they're direct heat.
Yes.
So you're actually putting the flames onto the food, and one of the effects of a barbecue is it char grills your food. Now that tastes delicious,
Yes.
but unfortunately what we know is it's not necessarily that healthy. So if you're going to be char grilling your food every single day, especially if you're somebody who likes to get a real blackened effect, then that's not going to be healthy for you long term. Whereas your air fryer's super healthy.
It doesn't. You don't get that. But there's no burning. There's a browning, but it's a browning caused by the hot air rather than the contact with the hot surface.
So,
winner.
So keto is easy if you've got the tips and tricks of the trade. Even as a blokey bloke,
it's a blokey bloke.
You can turn out to be a really good cook.
Yes,
and actually
award-winning.
really enjoy the cooking and enjoy the food.
Yeah, no one gets in my kitchen now because I love my kitchen and I love cooking. And anybody gets in my kitchen, I kick them out because I enjoy that time in the kitchen creating some keto food is a really important time for me. I love doing it and I love what I create.
It's a bit of a radical change.
A bit of radical change, but a good one.
A good one.